link so you can get them on board. We are really interested in having as many participants as possible, because this is a very important section of our business lives. It does affect all of us, and we would love to hear from the experts' experience, how we go around borrowing and the responsible utilization of borrowed funds. So kindly, if you will allow us, we are requesting for about 5 minutes so we can get everyone who is supposed to be here on board. In the meantime, please feel free to get get your mind thinking regarding loans. Any good experience that you've had with borrowing, and bad experience you've had with borrowing, we would love to hear it. Let us brainstorm. We are going to have a presentation from an expert, but it also would do us a lot of good if we can share personal experiences. This can be via chat. It can be, you could probably raise your hand in the Q&A and share an experience regarding loans, their products, and the, basically what your experience has been with a financial institution when it comes to accessing funds. Thank you very much. I will request that our IT resource gives us some 2 more or 3 more minutes of that very good sound melody while we wait for the rest of the team to log in. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we remind you, this is our final webinar, the Banking and Financial Services Awareness Month webinar series, where we've been discussing financial literacy. Today we discuss loans and the various loan products. We have invited a number of our guests, and our time for starting was scheduled to be 1, but because we still have to give some of our guests the opportunity to be here, kindly allow us to use this time to mobilize the rest of the team, but we also commit to start in the next 3 minutes. That's at exactly 10 minutes past 1. So please, if you can bear with us, it's just 3 minutes. Thank you. Some beautiful music from Derek, please. Dear our participants, once again, you are most welcome to our last webinar of the Banking and Financial Services Awareness Month webinar series. We have been running under the campaign slogan, My Steps, My Wealth. The overall objective here is to get people to be informed, become financially literate so they can eventually change their behavior to make prudent financial decisions that are in their best interest. We are saying start, be consistent, grow, and finish strong. Start, be consistent, grow, and finish strong. In the Financial Services Awareness Month, the Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services, UIBFS, together with Uganda Bankers Association, bring to you this campaign, and we are doing this in partnership with the Bank of Uganda. In this campaign, we bring to you a series of free webinars where we talk financial literacy and financial wellness. We touch the various pillars of financial literacy. We talk personal finance, we talk loans, we talk savings, we talk investment, we talk retirement, we talk insurance, anything that is geared towards improving the financial knowledge and skills of our communities and the people that we live with. This time around, we have touched various topics such as investment, taxation, digital finance, and we have brought in a number of experts from various fields, especially in financial services, to share their knowledge and wealth of experience with our audiences regarding how best to tackle the white elephant in the room, that is the challenges with personal financial management. We foremost want to thank our sponsors. We couldn't have done this alone as UIBFS, UBA, and BOU only. We've had sponsors along the way, people who have helped us in this journey. And we start by appreciating the various stakeholders in banking and finance, starting with the Housing Finance Bank. We have Equity Uganda. We have Finance Trust Bank, DFCU Bank, City Uganda, KCB, the Financial Intelligence Authority, Absa Bank, Mercantile Credit Bank, Exim Bank, Finca Uganda, NCBA Bank, Yugford Microfinance, BRAC Bank, Bank of Africa, DTB Bank, ABC Capital Bank, Bank of Baroda, Tropical Bank, and lastly, Cairo Bank, Uganda. We continue with the Banking and Financial Services Awareness Month webinar series, and today being the 20th and the last webinar, we are discussing loans. And our topic for today is understanding the different loan products and options specifically for SMEs. So, our dear guests, if you've got a colleague who is an entrepreneur, an SME owner or co-owner, please, it's not too late. You could share with them this link and ask them to tune in and listen while our guest today takes us through what it means to borrow, especially for SME purposes. My name is Mugwanya Ronald, and I'll be your host today. We are talking loans, like I've said. This is a very pertinent issue. Everyone has had an experience with loans and borrowing. We cannot say it was a bad or good experience, but we know one way or the other that we have all borrowed for one reason or another. Mainly, in most cases, people are going to borrow for business expansion. Others want to meet short-term business requirements, but many borrow for reasons that are best known to them. We have had cases in the press. Some of these cases have happened to individuals that we know. Some have lost property. but also many have become successful via borrowing. Hence, today we want to know exactly what's the difference between a good decision to borrow and a bad decision to borrow. When does borrowing become, when is borrowing bad or good for a business organization? And today, to discuss this topic, I'm joined by a very well-experienced young man, very pertinent about customer relationship management and engagement with SMEs, with the purpose of not simply to give them money so the bank can make money, but to make sure that they support these businesses to grow. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest for today is none other than Mr. Austin Agaba. He's the relationship manager for Bank of Africa, Uganda. Austin is a career banker, starting off his journey as a banker in 2012 as a teller, and he has since grown to become a customer relationship manager for SME banking at Bank of Africa. He's also a well-schooled person, holding a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science from UCU, Mukono, and also currently pursuing a Master of Business Administration from the University of South Wales. Ladies and gentlemen, at this moment, I want to welcome Mr. Agaba Austin to explain to us what different loan products exist on the market and how we can best make use of them. But before we ask Austin to come on board, my colleague has reminded me we have to run this poll, and you can see the poll on your screens, the poll questions on your screens. We want to gauge the degree of familiarity with loan products and what experience you've had with borrowing already. So the heading there is understanding the different loan products and options for SMEs. So kindly, in very few minutes, let us go through these poll questions. And before Austin can come on board, I will take you through the results of the poll questions so we can actually gauge our understanding and appreciation of loans and loan products. I hope everyone can see the poll questions on their screens. Kindly just go through them and submit your answer. When that is done, we will very briefly go through the poll results, and then we will invite Austin to share with us his wealth of experience regarding loans and loan products for SMEs. Okay, Derek, if we are done with this exercise, you could kindly share the poll results. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, we are in the process of taking off. Today we discuss loans and loan products, specifically to SMEs. And our guest today is Mr. Austin Agaba, Customer Relationship Manager for Bank of Africa, Uganda. And I am your host, and my name is Mugwanya Ronald. I'm a training and partnerships executive here at the Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services. The exercise going on right now is completing the poll questions, where we try to gauge the level of appreciation of knowledge of our audience so we can actually know that we are causing impact. Because at the end of the day, when we are interacting in these kind of sessions, we are also trying to understand and to be able to relate with the communities in terms of the different pillars that we are discussing. Thank you so much, Derek. The poll results are now on the screen, and this is how we stand in terms of age. Our audience is between 44% of the audience is between the age of 15 to 30, as well as 31 to 50. 6% is between 51 to 60, and another 6%, and also 61 to 80. We have a question here. Are you a business owner? We're asking if someone is if any of our audience members is owns a business, and 75% say they own a business. So it's a yes, and only 25 are non-business owners. Question 3, if yes, which sector is your business in? Which sector is your business in? And 19% we have trade sector. That's then 6% say they are in construction and real estate. Another 6% say it's education and consultancy, while 69% say they're in other sectors that they've chosen not to disclose. How long have you been operating this business? 56% say less than a year. So we really have some good lessons to take here. 31% say it's between 1 and 5 years. 13% between 5 and 10 years. Basically, yes, and 13% say it's between 5 and 10 years. Which of the SME loan products for businesses below do you know about? Term loans, 0. Small business loans, 44%. Overdrafts, only 13%. Business lines of credit, 13%. Equipment loans, none. Vehicle and asset loans, only 6%. Invoice factoring and invoice financing, 0%. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how we stand in terms of our knowledge and exposure to loans and the various loan products available from our banking and financial services sector. Once again, thank you for that participation. But at this moment, I want to invite our guest, Mr. Austin Agaba, to please share with us your experience. You are most welcome, Austin.
Thank you, Ronald. Thank you so much. I hope you can see me clearly.
Yes, you are very clear and loud as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ronald. Thank you for inviting me for this session. Today we are looking at understanding different loan products and options for SMEs. Now, I don't think I'll make another introduction. You actually did the introduction already. I would like to project something that will guide us through this session. And I'll be mindful of time. I know we started a bit late, but I will keep my presentation as short as possible so that we can have a longer period of interaction with the audience. So allow me project something which I'll speak to and as we proceed with today's topic. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. Ronald, you can confirm?
Your screen is visible, Austin, I confirm.
Wonderful, wonderful. So maybe for those that joined late, I can do a brief introduction. My name is Aston, actually not Austin, but Aston Agaba. I work as a relationship manager, SME with Bank of Africa. So today I'll be taking us through understanding different loan products and options for SMEs. Now, before I start with today's topic, I would like to take the audience on a journey of who Bank of Africa is, so that they understand, because Bank of Africa is my employer and one of those banks that is so passionate about SMEs. So briefly, we are BMC Bank of Africa, and the group is operational in over 31 countries across the 5 continents. We serve as a group over 5 million customers, and we have over 1,230 branches. Now, I'm trying to run as fast as possible so that I can catch up with time. I'll talk about Bank of Africa, Uganda. Now, we are a local bank. We started in 1985 as Assembly Investment Bank. Later on, we were granted a commercial banking license and we became Assembly Commercial Bank. Around 1996, the bank attracted some strategic investors, and then the bank was renamed Allied Bank, and this name was actually arrived at from a staff competition. Yeah, so Bank of Africa, the name was born in 2006. So that is when actually we became Bank of Africa on the Ugandan market. And now we've continued to grow. BMC Bank acquired some majority interest in the group, and that's why we have that BMC Bank logo that you see. So briefly, that is Bank of Africa. Now to our topic for today. As SMEs, there are quite a number of challenges, especially for SMEs in the market. I will talk to, for example, their contractors, their traders. Yeah, now for contractors, we look at it. Of course, there are quite a number of challenges, but just a few that I will highlight about today. Delayed payments. For example, you supply government or NGOs, and yes, you put in your money and get the job done, but then there is a delay in payment, which happens quite frequently. So that is one of the key challenges that we are seeing in SMEs, especially in the construction sector. Tenders and bidding hurdles. Sometimes this process is quite cumbersome, and getting some of these bid securities hasn't been so easy on the market. But I'll give solutions to this, something that we as Bank of Africa can offer. We have issues like payment efficiency, capital mobilization. Sometimes you have shortfalls, you want to get the job done, but you have capital shortfalls, and asset acquisition. This is mainly where you need specific assets or machinery, say a truck or a printer or something, to make sure that the job is done. So under the construction sector, looking at a contractor, those are some of the most frequent challenges that most of our customers in this sector are facing. If I go to trade, looking at importers, I think majority of the traders are now currently importing most of the things that they sell. So they face issues like terms of payment. Some of the terms of payment, especially from the suppliers, local and abroad, are not favorable, really. Yeah, sometimes someone is in China, a supplier is in China, and he would want you to advance some cash. You don't know this person, you've not met them. So that's a big risk, and one of the key challenges that the importers are facing. There's trade risk. Of course, this is mainly uncertainty of the market. We have still payment efficiency. That comes with convenience. Yeah, then there's low trust and of course pricing. Now, those are mainly some of the major challenges that the SMEs are facing currently. And to tackle the current topic and issues at hand, ours is about understanding the different loan products and options for SMEs. Now, instead of diving directly into the products and then explain them, We came up with a small presentation here that will guide us through the process and how we even identify the many products that we offer. Now, this is mainly what you see on your screen is mainly what someone would call a business cycle. Now, what is a business cycle? In a layman's language, I would actually define that as a process from the time cash is introduced into the business up to the time actually we make profits off the cash that we injected. Now, when you inject cash into a business, you purchase, for example, goods, get the goods, put them in your shop, sell, and make a profit. Now, when you come to Bank of Africa, I'll be very specific. When you come to Bank of Africa, we make sure that we go through the business very well before we then propose a product for you. Now, I'll start with the introduction of cash into the business. Now, this can be a new SME, could be a startup, though we do not finance startups, or it could be expansion. Now, based on the business that you do, there are four key questions that we ask and that we really want to understand. The first one being the when. When do you introduce money into the business? For example, a coffee trader. This is a seasonal business. So he needs to know that, okay, when the season is off, I actually don't have to put any money in the business. When the season is on, that is when I need to put money into the business. Yeah. Now, there is the question of who. Now, these are the stakeholders. We need to understand when you put money into your business, who are those people that are going to help you achieve what you aim at getting after the introduction of the money. So we refer those as stakeholders, people or systems that are going to help you achieve your goal. Then we look at debt. Like I said, for us, we do not finance startups, but if it's expansion, then you can look at getting some debt to help you realize your goal. Then the other key one is equity or own funds. Now, for most startups, it's always advisable that you save some money, then introduce it into your business if it's a startup. Why? That one will give you ample time to understand the risks involved in this in the business as you go along. It's always good to avoid debt when you're a startup because you do not know what is before you. So it's always that's why I emphasize that when it's a startup, it's always good to make some saving and start small and grow through the risks. Yeah. Now, we've introduced money into the business. We know when to introduce money to the business. And I'll give very relevant examples. So say Ronald has a shop and he sells, shoes. He sells shoes. He knows that his clientele mainly kids' shoes when students are going back to school. Yeah. So Ronald knows that towards the start of the term, I need to stock because that is my peak period. So that's the when question. I'll also keep giving examples as we move on. I'm trying to move as fast as possible because I see time is really against us. Now, once you know when to introduce the cash into the business, then you make a purchase. That is more like stocking. Now, you need to understand what quantities, for example, I used an example, Ronald, what quantities of shoes am I going to bring on board? Yes. What are the terms? For example, when I'm dealing with a trader in Kenya, do they want cash up front? Will they give credit? Yeah. What's the share between the two? That has to be very, very, very clear from the onset. Now, it's also good to understand the suppliers very well, where they are located, and of course their terms of trade. And then we look at the time it takes for example, for these goods once ordered. How long will it take for these goods to come through? What's the frequency? How often will you be purchasing? If you're talking about a farmer, we look at the seasonality, for example, for you to stock. You look at your creditors, and then very importantly, the currency. Why the currency? Most times, most of our traders purchasing, importing goods from abroad, and they pay in dollars. Yet when these goods reach here, they're selling in shillings. So you need to look at the FX bit. Yes, what happens if I'm buying in dollars and I'm selling in shillings? Will I still be able to make a margin? Yeah. So you need to understand the currency, and that will also help you with the pricing of your goods once they arrive. Now, once you know when to introduce cash and you've made the purchases, there are so many activities in the because most people will jump from purchase and addition or the selling bit, but based on the business that you're running, there are quite a number of support or activities. And some of these support activities that I would give, you need to have personnel, you need staff, because even when you purchase goods, for example, Ronald has imported his container of goods, and it's in Mombasa, and yes, he has to, and he has cleared it. It's now in Kampala. He needs to move it to his stores. So you need some assets or to help you move these goods to your stores. When it's in your stores, you need you have an outlet. You need personnel, staff that are going to help you in the actual sales. And for us, the reason why we look at the staff, organization, and experience, it helps us to look at management of your business. Yes, how skilled are your staff in managing your business, the relevant experience, and this also entails on proper succession planning. Yeah. We also need to know the locations, a few support tools. I'll speak to this in the next slides. Now, for example, then those are the support activities. Yeah, and of course, the cost of operations, the expenses that you incur once your goods have arrived, to make sure that these are either in your shop, or if they are raw materials, they are at your factory, if it is a warehouse. Yeah, so you need those support. Those are some of the support activities. Now, we have another one here which we call produce or value addition. Now, if, for example, you deal in coffee, you've purchased the beans and the beans from the farmers. Some people do add value to them, get them cleaned before they export. Yes, now that is value addition. But when you bring those beans, where do you store them? Yeah, you need storage, because you need a warehouse or a holding place where you're going to store these products before you can commence and maybe add value to them. Now, movement, of course, of those of your purchases into your warehouse, you need some form of transport. Now, based on the frequency, you can either come for an asset facility. But I'll talk about the facilities later. But just to understand is there's that need. Then the frequency and the seasonality. Yeah. After that, after all that is done, then of course you can make a sale. Now, selling is determined by demand. You also need to do a simple market analysis to understand your demand. You also need to have a target. Sometimes when you have a target, it helps you to achieve your goal. You target what quantities and values you will sell in a specific period of time. So you're able to go to the public and market as aggressively as possible until you actually meet that target that you want to sell over a period of time. Now, also the terms of sale. Are you selling on cash basis only, or you can give some people some credit. If an Aston comes, am I able to give him some credit? And it's always good to know the share of the two, how much cash sales and how much credit sales. Then you need to also know your customers very well. Some businesses, some SMEs will not actually grow because you find the location they are in does not support the kind of products or they sell or they deal in. So it's always very prudent to just do a simple market survey, see what is lacking in a community, so that when you set up shop, it helps you to actually meet the needs of that community. Yeah, then when you're selling, do you need to make deliveries to your customers? So, yeah, sometimes you find that you actually need to make deliveries. For example, I used an example of a coffee dealer who has added value, cleaned the bins and everything, and he's selling to say, I'm coffee. You have to deliver this to their factory so that they pay you. So you also need to account for the bit of transport, then the time lapse and the frequency. How often do you supply specific goods? Seasons, this is mainly for my agriculture or businesses that have certain peak periods and downtime. For example, like we said, for example, you look at stationery shops when schools are closed, the sales are a bit on the low, but when schools are open, the sales kind of grow because that's when the demand is there. Then the currency that you're going to sell in. Some of our customers actually in Uganda here do sell in dollars. Yeah, then some sell in shillings. So you also need to identify what currency you're going to sell in. Then always be mindful of your data, and most importantly, ensure you make a profit. You're in business to make a profit, and that is very, very key. Now, once we've looked at the cycle, we will understand that, okay, this client needs specific assistance from the bank. Now, our products are tagged at every step of the business cycle. Now, in this slide, I've maintained the different stages in the cycle, and I will propose some of the products that we can actually offer at every stage. Now, like I said, for startups, we do not fund as a bank. We do not fund startups, but there are other ways that you can source for funding. Or capital, source for capital. This can be from savings, can be from family. You can bring on board an investor and maybe do a joint venture of some sort, or through venture capital funds. Yeah. Now, this is where we actually look at the product. Now, when you're doing purchases, for example, what are the terms? When you're making it, you're going to do a supply, for example, to MTN. Have they given you a contract or an LPO? So once you come to Bank of Africa with a contract on or an LPO, we'll give some financing. We can do either contract financing or LPO financing. Depending on the terms of trade, if you're importing from another country, and you do not have a good relationship with the supplier, you don't know them, but they are the key people that supply that specific good, that specific item that you need. You can also offer import letters of credit. Now, these help you to mitigate the risk, especially payment risk here. We shall only pay, for example, when your goods have actually arrived. I will speak more into this once Ronald gives me more time. Now, still on a trader, a normal trader would also look at import loans. For example, you come, you have your security, you've been dealing with these people over a period of time, you're comfortable with them, you want to import stock. For example, it's 100 million, you have your 40 million. So you could come to the bank and we give you an import loan, top up that 60 million that you need to realize importation of your container that is worth 100 million. Then we can also do supplier finance. This is mainly for distributors, where we indemnify them by issuing a supplier guarantee. That means how I can break it down is, for example, Ronald is a distributor of Mukwano. Yeah, and Ronald needs to purchase goods from Mukwano. Ronald doesn't have all the money because he needs goods to sell and pay back to Mukwano. So Ronald will come to the bank, we give them what we call a supplier guarantee. Now Ronald will say this supplier guarantee is 50 million. That means Ronald will be a Mukwano, his supplier will be able to give Ronald goods worth 50 million at any one time. Yeah. Then as Ronald sells, he's able to pay back Mukwano. Apologies, someone was calling. The only challenge we usually face here is in event that the goods are bought from Mukwano and you do not sell, or you sell and you do not pay back to the supplier. Now that's a big risk, and we look at that as character. Now we also have insurance premium financing. Now you have your cars that do the transportation, that will go when you're purchasing. You have to send, say, your trucks to Mbale to pick the coffee. These cars are on the road, so it's always prudent that you have that car or truck or lorry comprehensively insured in case of an accident. So we also offer a product under insurance premium financing, and we also do bill discounting. Now that is a trader, but you'll have a contractor as well. For them, purchase will be initiation of the process where they have to bid. Yes, where they need to bid to get a job. So we also give bid bonds to contractors. Now, moving on, some of the support activities, like I said, movement of your produce or purchases from one point to your store. You need a car. You come in for an asset finance where we make sure we make a contribution to enable you purchase and acquire a car that will help you in movement and transportation of your purchases. Bridge financing, these are usually short term. For example, you've done the purchases, your goods at URA, and you do not have money to actually pay for the taxes. So you'd come in and we give something short term that can help you realize that settlement. We also do mortgages. Now these ones might be your storage place or is quite small, yes, and you need to expand, so we can offer that. And also an overdraft. Overdraft is just to cushion your cash flows in events you have that need at one particular moment in your support activities. For example, you might import your goods and yet you have staff and you need to pay your staff salaries and you've not yet realized sales. Yeah. Sometimes you find that those expenses that just drop in, you can always use an overdraft. Now, maybe to just quickly define an overdraft, I think most people like to understand, because from my experience, every customer that comes, most of them will tell you, I want an overdraft. I want an overdraft. Now, what is an overdraft? This is when a bank allows you to overdraw your account up to a certain limit. For example, Ronald has a limit of 20 million as an overdraft. So if Ronald has used everything and is at zero, he still has a leeway to overdraw his account up to the 20 million. Yeah. Basically, that is an overdraft. So it's one of those facilities that we also give, though quite a number of people like it a lot. It also has its issues, and maybe if I get time, I can speak more to that, so that everyone is very conversant with the risks involved with some of the products, especially overdrafts. That is, it's usually on high demand. It's usually on high demand. Now, produce or value addition. Your coffee dealer, you've made your purchases, you need to get your coffee to Kampala, you may need a truck. Still, we do asset finance. We can do stock finance for you. You have a warehouse or warehouse and you bought your stock, but well, you need some help you do not have, excuse me. So you're a trader and you bought your you purchased your your goods, and the bank has helped you to fund the purchase, and these goods have come. Sometimes we have an arrangement where when these goods come, put them in a specific warehouse, and this facility is called collateral management, whereby we will through our agents, the collateral managers, make sure that we control the outflow of that specific goods the specific goods that you have in that specific warehouse. Now, this one is also usually given to people that are in agriculture, then importers and people who import especially items that do not move very fast. For example, people who sell motorcycles, you find that it's very convenient for this. We release a specific number of motorcycles because you have orders and you're going to sell them. Then as you sell, you progressively reduce on your debt. Yeah, so sometimes you're doing expansion or diversion, like I said, if you're into manufacturing and you need to replace the machinery, yeah, or you need to expand the building, the structures. This also falls under mortgages, really. And then sometimes you just want to do some renovations. So when you come to us, we can give you a term loan uh, for that specific purpose. Now, we go to the sale. During the sale here, we can offer quite a number of products. We have invoice discounting. Now, invoice discounting is where sometimes you have a delay in, for example, in payment. You've raised an invoice. They tell you, we'll pay you in 60 days. But you do not have the 60 days, you badly need some funds. So you can come to the bank and we give a percentage of that invoice and a product that we call invoice discounting. We also do certificate discounting. This is mainly when the contractors, instead of an invoice, they usually, when you've gotten some work done and it's approved, what they issue is usually called an interim payment certificate. So now that certificate has a duration at which they'll pay you. Sometimes they tell you we'll pay you in 120 days, but you're doing a project and you need to continue working. So you'd come to the bank and the bank can give you still a portion, a percentage of that invoice, and you continue working so that whenever the employer has settled you, we recover our bit and then we leave the balance for you. Still under construction, there's what we call retention bonus. Now, when you execute a contract for example, under construction, when you do a contract, most times on completion of work, there's what we call a defects liability period. I would give an example of roads. We see roads, the construction of roads. Once the road is complete, the contractor will maintain any issue that arises on that road during the defects liability period, and this is usually between 6 to even 24 months, depending on the project. But under construction, average rate 6 to 12 months. Now, during that, for example, you've built, Ronald has contracted Aston, and Aston has built a school for Ronald. And Ronald will say in the contract of Aston, you have a defects liability period of 6 months, meaning once I do the construction and finish it and hand it over to Ronald, I still will take care of any defects that arise from that project for the next 6 months. Now, what happens usually under the terms of the contract, there is some money that is retained. Yeah, as they pay you certificate on certificate, they retain a percentage of money. It ranges between 5 to 10%. Now, sometimes project has ended, that money is retained and they only release it after the defects liability period, and yet you need the money. So you can come to the bank and we give what we call a retention guarantee or a retention bond. Then also we can do export letters of credit. This is mainly for people who are making purchases across the from other areas, cross-border. This is mainly cross-border. Yeah, we issue that letter to your supplier so that they are able to Rona, can you hear me? I seem to be off.
Aston, I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, sorry, I got a lag on my end. Yeah, so we also do distribution finance. This is mainly for the distributors, really. Small short-term working capital loans, the guarantees, the supplier guarantees. This is mainly just to cushion your cash flow and make sure that whatever sale you're making is done according to your plan and as per your targets. Now, I wanted to specifically also touch the issue of contractors, because we've seen a number of activity in this construction sector. So many people have come up and opened up entities, especially in the construction sector. Now, what is that first stage that happens when you're sourcing for work if you're a contractor? So Bank of Africa will advertise in the newspapers for people to come and renovate the branches. Now, the first bit that happens is people are going to bid. Companies are going to bid to take on this, take on the job. Yes, after bidding, of course, you go through a good procurement process, then an award of the contract is done. Yes, now you have the contract. Yes, what happens? You have to execute it. Finish the job, hand over the project. Now, I've divided it into four phases. Now, there are products that we can offer at every stage of that cycle. When you're doing at the bidding stage, you can offer bid bonds. Now, as Bank of Africa, currently we are able to give you unsecured bid bonds of up to 200 million. No security needed at all to help you in your bidding process. Now, we can also grant under our unsecured preposition. So this is under our unsecured preposition, but that does not mean that we only limit it to only the 200. As and when your demand exceeds the 200, and based on the relationship that we've had with you, we can always sit and agree, because some of our clients have gotten bids beyond 200 and unsecured still. Yeah, so don't say Bank of Africa is only limited to 200. No, there are quite a number of parameters that we look at, and we make sure that this bid, if you come for it in the morning, we issue it same day for convenience purposes. So now you've been awarded the contract. There are certain products, of course, and these are usually embedded in the contracts that you sign with whoever the employer is. Most employers will demand for a performance bond. Usually 10% of the contract sum. This is mainly just to safeguard them against performance risk, because if your entity really is not good, has not exhibited some good performance over a period of time, if your company has gotten works and you've not completed, your image is tarnished, if you go to a bank, will not give you that performance guarantee. So it helps to give comfort to the employer that, okay, this contractor can actually get the job done. Then some contracts, some offer advance payment options where they advance a percentage of the contract sum, usually between 20 to 30% to the contractor. So this money can always be used for mobilization. So if you come to Bank of Africa, we are able to hook you up with these advance payment guarantees. Now, during the execution phase, execution phase. There are quite a number of products here. Your contract is already signed, you want to get some money, you want to get the job done, so you come in and we look at the contract and finance it. We give you a percentage of that contract. If you've raised a certificate during the execution phase, we can still discount and give you some money to help you in execution. Sometimes you need to import certain material or equipment that you need to use in the execution. So you can always offer letters of credit or import bills for collection. Then, of course, like I said, if you're getting in some things from other countries, we can still offer import financing, usually to make sure that the job is done. And most of these products that I'm giving here are usually tagged to the works that you're going to do. Yeah, so that need is actually informed by the nature of works you're going to do. Because sometimes you have a job and the material that you need to use cannot be locally sourced, so you need to import. Yeah, so that's when an import financing facility can come through for you. And sometimes we also do asset financing. Sometimes you find, if I give an example of, say, road mapping, you need some machinery or assets to utilize in the execution of the job. Then we can also finance those assets at very good rates. By now, you've done the project and you're done. You've completed and you're ready to hand over. Like I said, under construction, there's always that liability period. So you find that some of the money has been retained. As they pay you, they are retaining a certain percentage, usually 5 to 10%. So you come in and we give you what we call a retention guarantee. Now, that basically is a brief on what products we can offer as a bank, especially to the SMEs. And in the interest of time, I can allow Ronald to ask any questions, maybe engage the audience as well. But Ronald, that's the end of my presentation, and I thank you. Over to you, sir.
Wow, that was a very beautiful presentation from our presenter, Aston Agaba. Thank you so much for that very succinct yet powerful, impactful, and very well-researched presentation. I have personally learned quite a lot from this presentation. Many of the products that you spoke about, they were just like alien to my ears. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Aston Agaba. Aston is the Customer Relationship Manager at Bank of Africa, Customer Relationship Manager in charge of SME. I can already see a reaction here from Sylvia Naruyimba. She's sending claps, much appreciated from Sylvia. Thank you so much for expressing that gratitude to Aston. There are quite a number of products that have been alluded to, and I just want to give a very brief recap in less than a minute. Loan products available from Bank of Africa, but probably from the rest of the business, the banks around the banking and financial services community. Import loans, import letters, supplier finance, insurance premiums, bill discounting, asset finance, overdrafts, as well as mortgage financing. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who are just joining us, once again, my name is Mugwanya Ronald, and I am the host for the webinar today. I see a lot of appreciations. Indeed, thank you, Aston, for the job well done. Your team, as well as the community, the audience and your employers must be so proud of you, as well as myself right here, because this has been a very educative presentation. To our audience, We are open for questions. We want to hear from you as well. What's your take from what Aston has just shared with us? What's your experience using the different products that Aston has alluded to? What was it a good experience? Was it a bad experience? Do you already know about these products? And what would you advise a colleague when it comes to consumption of those kind of products? Maybe while our audience prepares to share some questions or to share some reactions, Aston, maybe you could help me with something here. These are so many products, they really sound good, and we should just be using them. Yet, actually on the ground, you realize that there is very scanty knowledge regarding awareness of the products that you have shared. Just starting off with our poll, you could see that there is really a knowledge gap when it comes to the various loan products. People don't know these products. As a relationship manager, what do you advise is the most appropriate source of relevant information regarding loan products? You have explained this so well, but it seems like this information is still limited to a certain section of the community or a certain caliber of SMEs, but it's not yet reached the SME on the ground. You know, people who are just starting off, they have about 10, 20, 50 employees. You know, they want to get funding, but they look at loans as just ordinary loans. They don't know these other various products. What is the start point? Where do we get this kind of information? Aston.
Okay, thank you, Ronald. To start off, as Bank of Africa, we really try to disseminate our information, especially on our websites, for everyone that can access our websites to actually read and understand. We've actually put all our products there, we've defined them. But what we've done a lot, especially for the SMEs, we've done some outreach programs where we move to places and try to inform the communities about these products and how, as a bank, we can support them. So basically, that's what we've done. We ran campaigns, we've done adverts on radios and TV. And for me, I'm very sure that when someone starts a business and they have a very good plan, they know where they need to be, where they need to go. It's very easy to arrive at this information, because for us at Bank of Africa, we've used websites, we've done adverts, we do outreach programs, we've done campaigns, and you don't need to be our customer, have an account with us to come to any of our outlets and get this information. We have business bankers and relationship managers at your disposal. You don't actually need to have an account with us. You can walk into any of our outlets and just get some financial guidance and yes, some financial guidance from our staff. We are in almost, we are across Uganda. So my view is really for an starting and they have that knowledge gap, or they need some guidance on how to go about their business, just come to any of our outlets, tune into your TV, you'll see some adverts. You can go to our website and get all this information. And also, as a bank, we'll be reaching out to the communities through our outreach programs, where we go and sensitize the communities about good banking practice and offer solutions, especially to the mass, because ours is to make sure that we actually get a small client and grow them. So basically, that's it from me, Ronald, in terms of accessibility of information to the client.
Okay, thank you so much, Aston. Indeed, thank you for the answer. To our audience, please, this is a conversation between, it's a community effort. I mean, it's a group effort. It's not just between Aston and Ronald, but we also want to engage the audience. We want to hear what your experience is. If you've got any question, please, you could raise up your hand. I will allow you 1 minute to ask Aston, or you could also type it in chat. We can read it out. At the end of the day, we want to know that there is an audience out there that is listening and wants to engage with what's being said or being communicated on this call. I think there's a question here coming in from Eric Molo. Eric says, what do I need to get an SME loan to an already existing business? That was Eric Molo. What does he need to get a loan for an already existing business? And maybe for your information here, Aston, before you come on board, there's appreciations coming in from Ian Gisha saying very elaborate. I now know where to go for a loan and the type that applies to me. Albert Higa says, well done, Aston. Very great presentation it was. Jonah Wanda says, well done, Aston. Those are some of the shout outs coming from the audience, but please, if you could attend to Eric's question here, what do I need to get an SME loan to an already, what do I do to get an SME loan for an already existing business? That's from Eric to Aston. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronald. To answer Eric's question briefly, is his business is already existing. All he has to do is identify the actual need in his business, and then come to the bank. We offer solution. What we do is solution-based financing. Yes, you need a loan. We need to define the purpose, like I explained in my earlier presentation. So at Bank of Africa, we got you. If you need a loan, all you have to do is just come to any of our outlets, and we'll discuss the different solutions that we can offer to you. You don't, Eric, you don't have to be an existing customer with us. No, even if you don't bank with us currently, you can still walk to any of our branches. Tell us what your actual need is. And I'm emphasizing actual need because what we are doing is to make sure that we give a loan for a specific purpose. And we can always have engagements with you and offer you a facility that serves your actual needs. So in brief, Eric can always come to any of our outlets, or I'll also leave my number behind. You can call me and we discuss further about your actual need, and then we'll sort you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Aston. And I hope, Eric, you have been well taken care of. But now, Aston, we are talking loans, we are talking borrowing. But if we did a very simple random survey on the streets of Kampala, asking people the first thing that came to their mind if we spoke about loans, you'll be surprised. People will definitely, the first thing that's going to hit you is probably loans synonymous with problems. The moment you say loans, it is problems, it is stress, it is so many negative issues. In the press, in the media, we've been hearing reports of people who have lost property, people who have lost their lives, people have lost their marriages, and so many things really bad have happened. And these monies have been taken from well-established financial services institutions, the likes of Bank of Africa. And when these people are interrogated, they always tell you about there were issues about the contract. The person who gave me this money did not explain to me ABCDE. I had problems. I tried to engage these people, and there were all sorts of stories. We don't actually get to know who is right, because the bank also comes out, the financial institution also comes out to defend their position as to why they are taking the step that they've taken. And now this brings me to this question. In many professions, they always encourage us to be responsible in the kind of things that we do while engaging with clients. You hear phrases like being responsible as an advertiser, being responsible when you are selling, is there such a thing like responsible lending, where you as a financial services provider are mindful of the situation and the circumstances of the person that is lending this money, and you probably want to do something that is in their best interest, not only you being mindful of your targets and the balance sheet, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what happens to the person who took the money. Please, if you could just share with us, responsible lending, and what are some of the interventions you have specifically as BOA brand to ensure the borrowers do not, get into trouble with your money. Thank you, Aston.
Thank you, Ronald. Yeah, that's a good one. As Bank of Africa, what we do is we offer solution-based financing. What do I mean by solution-based financing? We always try to be very, I'll use your word, very responsible in the kind of credit that we give to our customers. We make sure that the facilities that we give are in a customer's best interest. Yes, we make sure we are very transparent, explain our offers to our customers very well. And then I must also emphasize that when a customer goes into problems, we always try and support. Sometimes they'll have issues with their contracts. All we need to understand is what was the cause of the issue. Yes, this problem that you have, what was the cause? Now, most of the, yes, I heard you say securities are being sold day and night, yes, but then it also goes back to character. Now, there's what you'd call responsible borrowing and also bad borrowing. I'll talk about, I was taking some few notes here. I'll talk about qualities that you'd look at to equate something, to equate a loan as responsible borrowing. For example, you need to know when to borrow. That's why I emphasize the issue of purpose. Yes. Do not just because Bank of Africa is offering products and because you have an invoice, doesn't mean that you should go and get that money. You must have a need, a specific need. Like I was answering to Eric. Eric wants a loan, but what is the actual purpose and why does he need it now? That has to be very, very key. Yeah. And that's on the side of the customer. Then, upon giving a loan, there are repayment schedules that we issue. Every month, you're paying a specific amount. It's also very prudent to a customer to make sure that they keep on track. If you have an issue, communicate. Do not keep quiet and say, the bank will not help me until things fall out of place. No, here at Bank of Africa, we listen to our customers and we solve their problems. And the last one is to make sure that you review your debt at any one time. For example, you're a contractor, you have multiple contracts, and you have these receivables, money coming in, and then they discounted an invoice. That specific employer hasn't paid. If you don't need this money right now, you can still reduce your debt or pay it off. Yeah, as opposed to now keeping this huge sums of money on the account and then maybe buying some new cars and everything. Yet you could have actually used it to reduce your debt, because at any one time, every time you reduce your debt, your risk goes down. Now, why do banks sell property? That's a rather interesting one. Sometimes people come to the bank, get money, and they divert it. Ronald will come and get money, working capital. He wants to increase stock in his business. He gets 100 million. But Ronald also has that addiction to an Aston Martin car. Ronald will say, okay, let me put the 50 in the business and the 50 purchase a car. Borrowing is expensive, yes, because it comes with interest. So it's very prudent that people do not divert. Use the money for the side purpose. If you borrow and use that money to enhance your lifestyle, then my brother, that property is at risk. Because at the end of the day, a bank is lending to you depositors' money, and then to recover. Yeah? Number two, you also need to look at your savings and debt. That is very critical. In that you find that you've borrowed, then you have these savings, you're actually not using them, then you continue to pay interest. You've not invested them to earn anything on them, but you just keep them on the side, and then you continue getting debt. Now you find that you reach a time and your debt is beyond what your savings can clear, and then your business is not doing well, so you're in problem. So sometimes it's always good to watch your savings in relation to the debt that you have. That would also help you. So for me, to answer you briefly, is it has to do with character. Yes, for customers that have lost properties, it's because they've really not gone in to engage with the banks. Here at Bank of Africa, to also mitigate that, we always do regular checks. Once we give you our money, we always come and visit you. That we could do on a monthly basis, check on you, understand what challenges you have, so that if there are any signs of distress or if you're having some challenges, we can quickly give you the solutions that you need to avoid the situation where now we are selling your property. We are not in the market to sell our customers' property. I'm specific to Bank of Africa, but what we advocate for is responsible borrowing, and that has a lot to do with the customer who is taking the money. Ours as a bank, we are very transparent at Bank of Africa. And like I said, ours is solution based. We offer solutions. Yeah, so briefly, that's it, Ronald. I hope I gave a fairly okay answer for you.
Okay, thank you so much, Aston, for responding to these concerns. They're not just personal concerns, but concerns that I'm representing the community and the kind of things and challenges that arise from those kind of interactions. Thank you so much, Aston. But also to the audience, please. Much as Aston speaks about products and the solutions from Bank of Africa, we need to be, we still have to remain informed that these products are not just limited to Bank of Africa alone. The products can be found at any bank or financial services provider within the country. Remember, during the Awareness Month, we have multiple financial services providers, banks, like we already mentioned in our introduction, and we are going to mention again the various speakers that, the various sponsors for the event. Having said that, Aston, we have about a very few minutes to the end of our session. However, I will end with this last one from Ian Mugisha. First of all, apologies, Ian. Ian sent a message in chat saying his hand has been up for some time. Apologies for not pointing that out. But Ian says, I heard that you do not lend startups. What effort is in place, or what's the effort Bank of Africa is putting in place to equip startups to gain financial literacy? Number two, prepare them to be bankable and creditworthy. Kindly, Aston, if you could share with us your experience around those two areas in less than 3 minutes, and we will be able to close.
Okay, thank you. Ronald, I'm trying to put my comment. To answer Ian, what we are doing is we do not finance startups, yes, but as Bank of Africa, we are doing a number of activities to help our customers, yeah. And some of the things that we are doing to bring financial literacy to the customers or to the masses is we've over a period of time organized webinars where our key senior managers have talked to the audiences and given them some good insights on best practices, especially for startups, what to do, what not to do. And we've also tried to engage them over the challenges that they are likely to encounter and appropriate solutions. We've also done business seminars. Sometimes they call them breakfasts here, where we could say, let's have the contractors, not only our existing contractors, it's usually open house, sit down and take them through a range of products that we can offer now. Some of the people that attend are startups. They might not qualify for a loan, but they understand those best practices. And then they also understand when they'll be able to access credit from Bank of Africa. Yeah, because we explain the products we give and the parameters that we use. Then we also, yeah, but mainly that's what we've done. And also to answer Ian, now to answer Ian's question again, sometimes we also offer advice. Yes, you're a startup. Bank of Africa doesn't finance startups, but there are multitudes of ways that a startup can still access some capital. Yes, so we give advice. Yeah, this can range from savings. Yes, it can range from families. Some businesses have started with money from families. Then there are joint ventures, whereby yes, you have a good idea and you want to get it across, then you get a partner that has more funds than you, that can help inject some money because they bought into your idea. Yes, they are capital venture firms. Yes, usually these ones base their lending on what you're selling. What is that key thing you're going to do? So they will look at your proposal for whatever you want to start with, and then they will inject their money or not. Yeah, so there are other ways you can source for financing, and if you came to any of our branches, we'll be able to give this information to you freely, by the way. And I see in the chat Ian is asking, how do you get invited? We do have a website, we are all over social media, radios, like I said, and usually we advertise these things over those channels to make sure that the customers existing and potential get to know about them, and then they can attend and get that financial literacy that they need so bad. Thank you, Ronald. I hope I've answered here to his satisfaction.
Thank you so much, Aston, for sharing out. And yeah, I see Ian says, thank you so much, Mr. Agaba. Probably he's indeed satisfied and well covered. To our guests and the audience, please, we appreciate your time that you have invested with us over 1.5 hours now. Thank you so much. We don't take that for granted. It's a testament that we want to learn. We want to be better at the various financial services products available on the market. Please and kindly take note that whatever Aston has shared with us today is not just limited to Bank of Africa as a financial services provider. These are services that you can find anywhere within a bank or a financial services provider next to you. You do not have to incur any costs of moving from wherever you are to move to a Bank of Africa branch to seek advice on the products that Aston has just shared with us. You can find that information at any Bank, Finance Trust Bank branch, Centenary Bank branch, Housing Finance Bank branch, KCB, Equity, DFCU, or any bank around the country. We really appreciate the knowledge sharing, but that is the fact. Information can be found in those areas. Please do not just quote Aston to that these are only for Bank of Africa. We are almost closing, and we have a poll. You can see it's already appearing on our screens. Please share with us your feedback. We want to know that we have, that people have taken a thing or two from this presentation. We don't want it to just pass as another 1.5 hours, but we want to have this as a session of 1.5 hours of impact, of insight, of knowledge sharing, of motivation to change behavior. The poll questions are up. Please share quickly and submit. In the meantime, Aston, please, I would kindly request you to share with us your parting shots, sir.
Thank you, Ronald. In the interest of time, I'd like to thank you for organizing this, and to the audience, thank you for paying attention and attending today's presentation. What I'd like the audience to know is I'll speak on behalf of Bank of Africa. We're a good bank and very open to helping seeing that small businesses grow. So whenever you have inquiries or needs, please do not hesitate to reach to any of our branches. You'll find very excellent staff with amazing customer care, and they will try and address your needs at any one time. Other than that, Ronald, thank you for inviting me for this session. And yes, I'm glad. It's been very insightful. And thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Aston. Aston, while you go, I just want to reiterate one key statement which you made, and it's really important that everyone in the audience really takes it. Please borrow for the right purpose. You don't want the bank coming running to you to say we are, repossessing your property, we are selling off your property. You don't want to spend sleepless nights because you cannot afford to repay the bank's money, because number one, you did not consult to seek proper understanding for why you need to borrow, and number two, that you borrowed for the right purpose, but you used the money in the wrong venture. Please take note of that. It's a key statement as we wrap up. Thank you so much, Aston, for really sharing the experience with us and for selling your brand. That's really wonderful. Thank you so much. The poll questions, the post-webinar poll results are in, and we see here, please rate this webinar, and 55% say the webinar is great, very good, 45% are saying it's good. What proportion of this information was new to you? 18% say all this information was new. 64% say some of it was new. 9% say most of it was new. And 9% said none of the information was new. When can you use this session? When can you use this session information? Like when are you going to use the information that you have gained from this session? 80% said immediately. 18% are saying between 2 and 6 months, and 0 between 7 and 12 months. Never still 0. So probably all our audience promise to use the information either immediately or in a very short term. Please rate the speaker. 55%, 55% saying excellent, 27% saying very good, and the 18% say the speaker was good. I rate you excellent, Aston. At least you know you have my vote of satisfaction. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, before we finally close off this session, I want to invite our CEO, Madame Goretti Masade, to share with us some closing remarks. You are most welcome, Madame Goretti.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ronald. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to start off by saying a very big thank you to Aston. Thank you, Aston. I think you did an amazing job. Unfortunately, I came in late because I was engaged. But from all the comments in the chat room and post-evaluation that has just happened, I think you did an amazing job, and we want to thank you very, very much. This is the last webinar for this Banking and Financial Awareness Month. And I must say it's been an exciting period. This time round, we were responding to the results we got after evaluating the first webinar. I mean, the first edition, which was last year, under the theme, Your Money Can. This has been under the theme, My Steps, My Wealth, indicating that whatever step we take is important for the wealth that we want to achieve, or for the goals that we have set ourselves. And I want to thank each and every speaker that has appeared in this season, because they've spoken directly to that. This season, we've talked to SMEs, we've talked to women, we've talked to employees who are salaried people, we've talked to young people. And so we feel that we have done everything possible to equip us to move into 2022 with purpose and equipped with tips on how to make ourselves better for the year. I also want to say that last year in the first season, when we evaluated, we realized that people made significant steps in the areas of saving and in the areas of saving, yes, and also saving as soon as they earn. We also realized there was quite a bit of improvement in knowledge in those areas. But one of the things that some of the areas that were not well adopted were insurance, loans, and investments. And I must say that this year we have seen a lot of interest in investment, a lot of interest actually also in retirement. And now I can say that hopefully we've got a lot of interest in loans as well. And so I am excited, and I want to say a very big thank you to everybody that has attended, you the participants that have made it possible, the speakers that have made it possible, and above all, the staff at UIBFS. I would like to thank you very much for all the effort that you've put towards this. And I want to close off by welcoming you all. We are in the process of ensuring that the portal, www.yourmoneycan.or.ug is available for you for use. All the material for this season and last season will be there. Go there, utilize it. And let's meet again next year in a better position. Thank you very much.
And thank you so much, Madame Goretti, for the remarks, for the closing remarks. Thank you so much once again to Aston and to our audience. Once again, we want to tell you, start, be consistent, grow, and finish strong. The key word here is just to start. Be consistent with what you've started. Keep growing and finish strong. That has been the last webinar for our Banking and Financial Services Awareness Month, Session 2 or Season 2, and the slogan, My Steps, My Wealth. We thank you so much. And we once again want to thank our sponsors, because like we mentioned, we couldn't have done this all by ourselves, but it's been a collaborative effort from multiple banking and financial services providers: Housing Finance Bank, Equity Bank, Finance Trust, BFCU, Citibank, KCB, the Financial Intelligence Authority, Absa Bank, Uganda, Mercantile Credit, Exim Bank, Finca Uganda, NCBA Bank, Yugford Microfinance, BRAC Bank, Bank of Africa, DTB Bank, ABC Capital, Bank of Baroda, Tropical Bank, as well as Cairo Bank, Uganda. We also want to thank key stakeholders in this effort, which is Capital Markets Authority. We've got CFA East Africa, Uganda Retirement Benefits Authority, Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority, UMRA, and the Uganda Insurers Association. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to have you once again. Start, be consistent, grow, and make sure you finish strong. My wealth, my steps, my wealth. Thank you and goodbye to everyone. Have a nice evening.